Окей, всем привет, меня зовут Тимирхан, спасибо за 50 подписчиков. Как я обещал, я перевел для вас 105 упражнений от Кайлера Улама, которые ему помогли достичь такого невероятного результата в тяге в 430 кг при собственном весе в 98 кг. Напишите под этим видео на ютубе, интересно ли вам, чтобы я перевел видео Кайлер, где он делится своей техникой, также своими фишками, наработками в жиме лежа. И учитывая то, что у него безумно длинные руки, мне кажется, это очень актуально будет для многих людей, так как он генетически не предрасположен к жиму лежа, но при этом он умудрился пожать 210 кг. И более подробно об этом я расскажу в конце видео, поэтому обязательно досмотрите это видео до конца и смотрим.
That are dying to deadlift that, and he's rowing it like it's nothing. This is Mark Belton, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. And today we have a special guest who has successfully deadlifted 900 pounds. We have Kailer Woolham. He's going to take us through 5 exercises, and he's going to tell us how we can deadlift 900 pounds easy. So first thing we got is a bent over row. Why don't you walk us through it?
Okay, so definitely my favorite exercise for building a deadlift is these bent over rows, and I'm going to kind of show you how I do them. I do them a little bit differently than most people do, not your traditional rows. I incorporate a little bit of body English with these. So kind of show you a little bit how I do that. So
body English.
That's right.
AKA cheating,
yes,
perhaps?
Exactly. Cheating.
You're already pulling sumo. Now you're cheating here. I mean, what's next?
That's what powerlifting is about. Yeah.
Cheating?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're just here to move more weight. We don't care how pretty it looks, right? So
that's right.
So I line up to it just like it's a regular conventional deadlift. So now the only thing I change is if I'm doing a conventional deadlift, I'll put my hands as close to my legs as I can. So what I'll do here is I'll kind of put my thumbs out like that just to space out my hands about like right there. Just get my grip a little bit wider for these rows. Maybe even move my feet out a little bit, kind of just whatever feels good, whatever makes it feel the most stable. Line up to it, just like I'm doing a regular deadlift, getting ready to rip it off the floor, get my back tight, everything. But then as soon as I get up to my legs about right here, I just pull it into my belly button, just like that. And then
pulling it in kind of low towards your stomach.
Right. So I'll just pull it right into that belly button area. I don't let the weight go all the way to the floor. I stop about halfway down my shins, really let my back and lat stretch out as far forward as I can, and then just pull it in my belly button. Just like that.
This is our strongest deadlifter in the gym. He did a 755-pound pull. I'm gonna have him just show the camera how he typically does a bent over row.
Okay.
Pop in here. The point of this is to show you guys a lot of different ways to execute these things, and you just want to find what works for you. So Nsima's going to explain how he does his bent over rows.
So I'm going to put some body bonics on this shit. Pretty much, feet are pretty much where your conventional deadlift would be, but instead of when he does it, his bar is actually hitting the belly button. I'm trying to have the bar hit like my solar plexus right here, and my arms are much wider than his. So like, I'd say that typically where an individual would actually bench press would be where my arms would be. So I'm out here. And I do a similar thing where I bring my hips down to get slack out of the bar, but I don't come here. I pull it right off the ground, up into my chest. And then my main goal is to kind of hold my torso position. So whenever I pen layer, I try not to let this happen. I try to keep it here and have everything like my arms and my back doing a majority of the movement. So yeah.
Which way is the right way? The point is there's no such thing. But for today, we're gonna make Nsima do these deadlifts this way so he can learn more shit and become more betterist, right?
I typically like to step in a rep range of around like 5, because I'm doing these for like a lot of power. Typically if I'm really trying to build some deadlift strength and get serious about these, I will even work up to like something pretty heavy for like a set of 3 or something like that. But today I'm kind of looking at doing sets of 5,
So like, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
When did you start actually doing this for your deadlift, and did you notice a big change when you started implementing it?
Absolutely. Man, maybe like last December, December of like 2015 is when I really started to do these. I always did them, but I never did them with the intention of them being a deadlift accessory and being stronger at them. As soon as that became a priority to become stronger at them, my deadlifts started blowing up. And the stronger I got at these, the stronger my deadlift got.
So where would you say you started with this?
Man, I think like when I first started, maybe like a set of 5 with like 275 or something.
And that was
So-
difficult for you?
Do what?
That was kind of difficult for you?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's really just blown up, and even just like in a year and a half. So great.
Plus 45. There we go. 490. It's around 490. You cannot have all of that computation on that video. All right, so what I can tell with this, and I asked him, where does he feel this movement mainly? He said mainly he feels it through like lower back in this area. And for me, right now I'm not feeling that much because I don't do a movement like this often. So I feel like since I Pendlay row and I usually feel my Pendlay rows like up here and here, if I start doing this more often, I'll be able to get better muscle activation and get a lot stronger with that movement rather than my Pendlay row. A little bit more than 510.
People that are dying to deadlift that, and he's rowing it like it's nothing.
All right, so now this set's like kind of my back down set. Everything's a little bit lighter, so I'll move my grip out a little bit. I'm not gonna use as much body English. I'm gonna focus a little bit more on just muscle contraction and I guess not cheating as much. So.
Хочу отметить, что если это видео смотрят начинающие спортсмены, а я уверен смотрят, не нужно сразу браться за большие веса, как это делает Кайлер. У него очень сильные мышцы, очень сильный стабилизатор, и поэтому он может себе это позволить. Вы же на начальном этапе с таким читингом просто травмируетесь, поэтому сосредоточьтесь на технике, с небольшими весами выполняйте это упражнение, и по мере роста вашей мышечной массы и общей силы вы можете позволить себе уже выполнять с читингом.
So for this next one, we're going to do some weighted pull-ups. Now, I was just telling Nsima a second ago, I will alternate weeks with how heavy I do these. So this week, I'm going heavy on bent over rows. So today, I'm just going to maybe strap on a plate and just see how many reps I can do for 5 sets. Pretty much be like 5 sets to failure. Whereas like next week, I'll do heavy weighted pull-ups, as much as I can for like sets of 5 or something like that, and then go a little bit lighter on bent over rows. So let's get started. Okay, so the third exercise we're gonna do today, definitely one of my favorite deadlift accessory movements is gonna be the shrug. So I do my shrugs a little bit different than most people. I line up to them just like I'm doing a deadlift. However, I prefer not to do them out of a rack. I like to do them either from the floor or maybe off of like a, no more than a 4-inch box. That way, you can really get like a reasonable amount of weight on there and you're not really doing too much. Because I feel like if you're doing it out of a rack, you're gonna tend to do like way too much weight. So I feel like if you can't deadlift it, you shouldn't be shrugging it. So I'm going to mention that this isn't something that I would typically do on my back day or my main deadlift day. I have a day that I dedicate just to shoulders. So like, all my lateral movements, overhead press and stuff like that. And I spread it out through the week as much as I can, especially if we're trying to build a big deadlift. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate how I like to do these. So like I said, everything's going to be as similar to a conventional deadlift as possible. Stance, everything, hand position is going to be about the same. Maybe I'll put my hands slightly wider just to give my shoulders a little bit more range of motion. Get down just like I'm doing a regular deadlift. And you kind of want to work up to a weight that's going to be like somewhat hard to pick up off the ground, but nothing like ridiculous or anything like that. So we'll start off pretty light here. So then I just pick it up. I really like doing these even to the point to where I can really only maybe even do like 5 or something like that. And that's not something typically people most do. I feel like a really big benefit for doing heavy ass shrugs like this is having like a strong lockout position, really building a lot of upper back strength for your deadlift. It really keeps me from not collapsing over as much. I'm really able just to rip the weight off the ground with the power of my traps and be able just to manhandle that weight. And it makes the rest of the movement a lot easier to do.
Let me ask you something. How long have you been like implementing shrugs into your workout?
Quite a while now, maybe like a year and a half, kind of the same time I started doing the bent over rows.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was the same thing, you know, I noticed a tremendous increase in upper back strength when I started doing them. You know, making the deadlifts feel like nothing, you know, on my back. It was just so easy it was always so easy for me to lock out the weight. And I feel like it's because I was able to shrug almost as much as I could deadlift. So you know, really just getting up there into the 700 or 800 pound range for shrugs.
You're shrugging like 700, 800?
Yes, yeah, so I can do 800 for like, you know, 3 to 5 reps, something like that. If I do this with 800 pounds, when you're picking it up off the ground, if you're just having to hold it there, it's gonna feel like nothing, right? Like, you know, you don't want this to be the issue here, so.
Another good idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so another one of my favorite exercises for building a huge deadlift is gonna be this GHR right here. So now what this machine does, it really targets those glutes and hamstrings, and I feel like it's very good for your lockout. It really builds like a lot of strength down here in the bottom position of your hamstring right here. Kind of just making that position really strong, especially if you're like a sumo puller and you really need to like kind of lock those legs out really quick at the top. I think it's just really good for just building extra strength back there. So now what we're looking for here is, we don't want to be worried about weight. I like to just get like a good burn right here. And if you need to use your hands on the handles, absolutely go for it. We're really just looking for a good hamstring contraction here, building more hypertrophy. This is not something for, you know, doing a lot of weight on. Like I said, we're just gonna try to mostly go with our body weight. If your body weight's too easy, then yeah, maybe do like a little bit of weight or something like that. But so you kind of just go down and then keep your back completely straight the whole time and just pretend like you're locking out a deadlift. Sometimes I'll go down and throw myself up, and then I'll even kind of hold my hands like I'm doing a deadlift, pretending like I'm locking out that weight, because it's like you're using similar muscle groups in both of these things. So, okay. All right, so the last deadlift accessory movement I'm gonna show for you guys today is called the reverse hyper. Oh, so now it's another one of those movements. I don't think it's very important to do like a ton of weight on it. I typically like to do sets no less than 8 reps. So I really like to get like a good burn, get some good hypertrophy work in. And really, it's going to really target your lower back, glutes, and hamstrings kind of all at the same time. So this isn't just good for if you're a power lifter trying to build a bigger deadlift. I think this is also something great is if you have a lower back injury or you have a pulled glute or something like that, because this is something that stimulates easy blood flow to that area, and it's really going to, you know, make that area stronger, because usually what I find when people have like a lower back injury, it's because their back is weak. And just pull your legs up as high as you can, try to just go straight. I usually like to do 3 or 4 sets, maybe 8 to 12 reps, something like that. So there's 5 movements that I've used to build my deadlift up to 900 pounds. Start incorporating these in your workout and your deadlift will blow up.
Окей, спасибо, друзья, за просмотр. Если вам интересно видео Кайлера, где он показывает технику жима лежа, плюс делится своими наработками, то давайте наберем на моем канале 80 подписчиков. 50 подписчиков вы набрали за один день, поэтому думаю, 80 подписчиков вам не составит труда набрать. Спасибо большое за внимание и удачи вам.